For loop, the for loop is used to iterate over a sequence, such as a list, tuple, string or range, any other iterable object. It's commonly used when you know the number of times you want to repeat a block of code. Syntax for variable in sequence. In comments, code to be executed for each element in the sequence variable. This is a variable that takes on the value of each element in the sequence during each iteration. Sequence. This is an storable object that you want to loop through. Example: fruits equal to apple, banana, cherry for fruit in fruits. Print open brackets, f open, double quotes, I like open, flower bracket, fruit close flower bracket, s close flower bracket, closed brackets. While loop, the while loop is used to execute a block of code as long as a specified condition is true. It's suitable when you don't know in advance how many times you need to repeat a block of code. Syntax: while condition in comments, code to be executed as long as the condition is true condition. This is a Boolean expression that determines whether the loop should continue or not. Example: count equal to 1 while count greater than equal to 5. Printf count is count. Count plus or equal to 1 in comments. Increment the count variable. Loop control statements. In addition to basic loops, Python provides loop control statements that allow you to modify the loop's behavior. Break. The break statement is used to exit the current loop prematurely, regardless of the loop condition. Example: for number in range 1 to 10, if number double equal to 5, break print over. For continue, the continue statement is used to skip the current iteration of a loop and move to the next iteration. Example: for number in range 1 to 6, if number double equal to 3, continue print numbers with loops. Python allows you to use an else block with loops. The else block is executed when the loop condition becomes false or when the loop finishes without encountering a break statement. Example: for in range 5, print else printed in finished without a break. These are the basic types of loops and loop control statements in Python. You can use them to repeat code blocks and control the flow of your programs based on conditions or iterations. Lists and tuples in Python. Both lists and tuples are used to store collections of items. They are similar in many ways, but they have some key differences. Lists, mutable. Lists are mutable, which means you can modify their elements after creating them. You can add, remove, or change elements in a list. Syntax: lists are defined using square brackets, and elements are separated by commas. Miles equal to open square bracket 1, 2, 3 apples. So bananas closes square brackets. Accessing elements in a list are indexed, and you can access them using their index. Indexing starts at 0. Mylist 1, 2, 3 first element equal to mylist 0 in comments. Access the first element. Common operations: adding an element to the end of a list. Mylist. Append for inserting an element at a specific index. Mylist inserto. Orange. Removing an element by value. Mylist remove, topping an element, removing and returning. Popped element mylist. Pop function slicing a list to create a new list. Subset mylist 1:3 length. You can find the length of a list using the len function. Iteration. Lists can be easily iterated over using loops. Use case. Lists are suitable for collections of items where you need to add, remove, or modify elements during the program's execution. They are commonly used for dynamic collections of data. Tuples immutable. Tuples are immutable, meaning their elements cannot be changed after creation. Once a tuple is created, you cannot add, remove, or modify its elements. Syntax: tuples are defined using parentheses, and elements are separated by commas. My tuple 1, 2, 3. Banana's accessing elements is like lists. Elements in a tuple are indexed and accessed using their index. Common operations. Since tuples are immutable, you have fewer operations available. You can find elements, count occurrences, and check for the existence of an element. Length. You can find the length of a tuple using the len function. Iteration. Tuples can be iterated over using loops, just like lists. Use case: tuples are suitable when you want to create collections of elements that should not be modified during the program's execution. They're often used for situations where data should remain constant. Key difference is mutability. Lists are mutable. Tuples are immutable. Syntax: lists use square brackets and tuples use parentheses. Common operations: lists have more built-in methods for adding, removing, and modifying elements. Tuples have limited operations and are primarily used for data that should not change. Performance: tuples are slightly faster than lists because of their immutability. Use cases: lists are used for dynamic collections where elements can change, while tuples are used for fixed collections where data should not change. In summary, the choice between lists and tuples depends on whether you need a collection of data that can change. Use a list, or should remain constant, use a tuple. Both are versatile data structures in Python, and the choice depends on the specific requirements of your program.